Long Beach? Welcome back to your home for everything local sports. It's JJ.
And Mike. And this CIF State Track and Field video is brought to you by Naples Rib Company, the perfect place for your next team event.
Keep it at 100 at the Track and Field Championships in Fresno on Saturday. Mike, they take their track and field seriously in Fresno. You can tell by the lack of goalposts at Veterans Stadium.
It's a big Frez yes from the Long Beach kids. We've got 15 athletes making up 9 entries representing 4 schools. Live results on the big board. It's a scene.
The shoot in the shade, everybody trying to grab some cool out here in Fresno. Cool is relative though, it was upwards of 100 degrees today.
And no shade for the working press, brutal out there, JJ. I caught a few sunburns myself.
Huge, knowledgeable crowd, they kind of let you know what's going on just by their reaction. And just the best darn shot put setup we've ever seen. You can bring a cooler, buy your favorite carnival food. This is basically like the best music festival of all time, where the bands change every year, but they're always good.
Absolutely. Time to get to the action. That's going to start at the high jump with Rachel Glenn, the super sophomore for the Wilson Bruins. She really just started jumping seriously this year, but turned a lot of heads with a 5'11 clearance at the California Relays. She cleared 5'8 with ease and would go on to clear 5'10. That was the top mark of the day. Mental strength so important in the field events. A lot of time sitting and thinking your own thoughts.
Got to stay centered. Sometimes you just got to shake it out. Glenn, like you said, just learning how to do all of these things. She and Abby Burke, the defending champion from Riverside Poly, both failed to jump 6 feet, but they both jumped 5'10", so they share the title?
We are not doing a jump off. We have got a state champion in the sophomore Rachel Glenn. She is full of personality. She's someone you can already tell is going to be a star, and a state champion in the 10th grade. Pretty amazing stuff.
Grab the baton, we hit the track for the relays, and why not start with the track rabbits?
Poly girls in the 4x1, this is going to be Kashaya Peters to Jalen Pretium to Kenya Payne to Ariana Augustine. This was really a fascinating state meet because 3 of the top 4 teams are Sarah, Calabasas, and Poly, which is also 3 of the top 4 teams in the relay this year. So you actually had sprinters racing against each other for the team state championship instead of a shot put coming in here and a pole vault coming in here. So really exciting to see that. And as you see him coming down the home stretch, obviously it's Jasmine Frost from Sarah, it's Nowling from Calabasas, and it's Ariana Augustine from Poly. It's going to be Sarah winning with a number 3 USA time of 45.69. Poly takes 4th in 46.71.
The boys also ran very well in Masters, and they ride that momentum into today. It's the football relay, as we like to call it.
Yes, absolutely, and this all-underclassmen team for Poly will be playing football. They'll also be back next year. It's going to be Anthony Johnson to Kewan Markham, who's sitting on over a dozen football scholarships. He's a stud. He's going to take it down the backstretch to hand it off to Kenyon Reed, who's going to wheel it around. I think that curve is just the worst thing in track and field, and I'm glad I don't have to sprint on it. He's going to hand it off to Ashton Brown. JJ mentioned it, this Poly team's gotten better as the season goes on. They really wanted to PR here and fell a little bit short of that. But for a group of guys who, most of them not serious track guys, Kewan Markham just started running a few months ago, for them to finish 4th in the state with an all-underclassmen field in 41.50 is pretty incredible.
Speaking of underclassmen, Asia Atkinson staying cool no matter what's going on, even while she's making history. She's the only underclassman in this 100 hurdles. She was also the first girl from St. Anthony to win a CIF individual title since the 90s. And then she finished 7th today. Great performance. And what a season for Atkinson.
Just off the podium with a time of 14.26, but as JJ mentioned, the only freshman. There were no sophomores in the race either. A very bright future for her. And it's time for the sprints. The crowd's favorite. My favorite. Your favorite?
I think so, man. It's certainly the most exciting.
For sure. Ariana Augustine, the big ticket, the LSU signee, the defending 100 and 200 meter state champion. She won CIF and Masters championships in both events. She's going up against Nowling from Calabasas and Frost from Sarah, and we knew this was going to be an exciting one.
Oh, it was very close, Mike. Augustine actually going to end up taking 3rd as Frost from Sarah and Nowlings are able to edge her. It was almost like a passing of the torch as Augustine runs an 11.65.
We move on to the 200 where Augustine looked good from the jump. As she's going to come around, she's always been good at making up the stagger and then getting to the backstretch and kind of exploding even against top competition. And you see her coming down the home stretch with the lead. But a little something goes on down the stretch. She said she lost her balance. There was some tightness in her hip flexor, it looked like. And you see her going forward. She's trying to lunge And Tiara Robinson-Jones from Bishop O'Dowd is going to win it. A tough fall for Augustine, who takes second with 23.70, outleaned by 4/100ths of a second, and was down on the field. That is tough rug burn if you've ever fallen on the track, much less running at full speed.
No enjoyment there. Milliken's Riley Williams looking for some fun in the 300 hurdles, and actually, he ran a heck of a race.
Yeah, he did not run the race that he wanted to race, but I mentioned to him afterwards, look, he says he's a long jumper who this is his second event. And I said, well, guess what? It's not your second event anymore. He does make up for a stutter step there and end up taking 6th, making it onto the podium.
Long Beach Poly's Kenya Payne also in the 300 hurdles. She would go on to run a PR 4th. 2 great runs over the long hurdles for these Long Beach athletes.
And a great job by Payne, who, look, she's only 2 athletes in this race are not graduating this year, so she will be one of the favorites next year after that time of 42.30, a big PR from her. Wilson
boys capping the night. It's a Bruin bookend, Mike. We started with Rachel Glenn, 2 ends, by the way, and we're going to end it with the Wilson boys 4x4, who's been making history.
Andrew Richards, Amari Bennett, Stephen Camacho, and Jordan Weimer, they were the state leaders at one point, want to just come out here and show well, want to beat the school record, and sort of put on for the effort that they've gone through. They changed the relay order up, and I have to really tip my cap to Neil Nelson and the rest of the staff at Wilson, because having it go Richards to Bennett, Bennett's been their fastest split this year. He ran a 47.25, and you see, that means when he hands it to Camacho, they've got a lead. So they give themselves that cushion up front, and that means it's just emotionally a little bit different to have it go the way that it did at the end.
Front runners throughout this race, however, Christian Shakir Ricks and Murrieta Mesa, it was just their night. He runs away with this one, 3:10.86 for Murrieta Mesa. Clayton Valley going to finish second, but Wilson in third. You can see Bennett's reaction here as he looks at the time. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to break the school record, and they did it.
They finished third. They go sub 3:13 for the first time in school history with a 3:12.88, and the raw, genuine emotion from these guys as the fireworks were going off behind them was really something to see. A phenomenal way to end the state meet. This is obviously the most exciting race, and it was so cool to see these Wilson kids make history for their school and their city and put on.
What a great track and field season for Long Beach. Thanks as always to all of our sponsors, including Naples Rib Company, for helping us bring you that coverage. Please stay tuned to the 562.org all summer long for all of your Long Beach sports news.